Good afternoon, Year 4. Happy Friday and welcome to our first science lesson in a brand new term, which means, of course, that it's a brand new topic. So we are going to be starting with a topic called animals, including humans, which you will have done in previous years as well, but we're really going to be focusing on building that knowledge of the inner workings of animals and humans, their skeletons, their structure, their muscles, and how different animals and humans survive and how they function. So before we get stuck into that, we need to review last term's content when we were doing our unit on sound, of course. So let's begin with our quiz. And the only sheet that you're going to need for today's lesson is this one here. So it has the science quiz at the top, and then you've got this underneath for your activity, which is coming later. I'm sure you can guess what the lesson's going to be about. So let me share the screen and we can start our quiz. So hopefully you all have this in front of you now. I'll read through the questions and you can go through in your own time. So, question 1, what is volume measured in? Is it volts, decibels, millimeters, or amps? What is volume measured in? Question 2. And if I go too quickly at any stage, remember you can always pause the video and then just take a bit more time on each question. So question 2, sound is created by what in the air? Is sound created by vibrations in the air, vacuums in the air, sound waves in the air, synapses in the air? Question 3. What part of the ear receives sound? Is it the outer ear, the inner ear, the larynx, or the eardrum? What part of the ear receives sounds? Question 4. Sound cannot travel through a what? Sound cannot travel through a solid, through a liquid, through a vacuum, or through a gas. Circle the right answer there. Question 5. What is pitch? Please don't say something that you play football on. What is pitch? Is it how high or low a sound is? The distance between sound and the ear? How we measure volume? Or is pitch when a sound is too quiet for us to hear? So what is pitch when we're talking about sound? And then finally, question 6. What sort of light causes sunburn? So this is going on to what you did last year, looking at different light. Is it UVA rays that cause sunburn? UVB rays that cause sunburn? UVC rays or UVD rays? So it's a certain kind of UV ray, but which one causes sunburn? A, B, C, or D? So final few seconds, and then we will go through the answers. So let's go through and mark these. So what is volume measured in? Hopefully everyone knew that one, decibels. So sound is created by what? Hopefully we all got this as well. Vibrations in the air. Created by vibrations in the air. Sound waves was there as a kind of trick one. Sound isn't created by sound waves in the air. You need the particles to vibrate first to then create those sound waves. So vibrations. Question 3. Which part of the ear receives sound? Outer ear, inner ear, larynx, or eardrum? It is, of course, the eardrum. Have a quick think as well. For a bonus point, can you think what a larynx is? We did talk about that a bit last term. What is a larynx? So hopefully you know that's another word for the voice box, how we produce our voices rather than anything to do with the ear. Question 4. Sound cannot travel through a vacuum. So a vacuum, an example of that would be like in space. You can't hear anything in space because it's a vacuum. So sound is not able to travel through that, meaning that a vacuum is something that there are no air particles in. What is pitch? It is how low or high a sound is. So how high or low a sound is. And then finally, what sort of light causes sunburn? UVB rays. So if you remember last year, we looked at UVA rays and they cause aging, UVA aging, UVB burning, UVB causes burning. So hopefully we did really well on those ones. Please make sure you've ticked all of those and given yourself a score out of 6. So today our WALT is identifying types of teeth in humans, and I'm sure you managed to guess that off the sort of horrific worksheet and the big picture of the mouth over there. So we're going to be looking at identifying different types of teeth, their names, the numbers of teeth that we've got, and where they are in our mouth as well. So what I'd like you to do is have a think. How many teeth do you think children have in total? So you may find, I'd advise probably not putting your hands in your mouth and trying to count that way, but you may be pausing the video and going to have a look in the mirror. Can you count roughly how many you've got? And then from that, how many teeth do you think adults have in total? Well, maybe they're exactly the same. So what do you think? So pause the video now. How many teeth do you think children have? And how many teeth do you think adults have? So pause the video now. Okay, so we're going to have a look at how many teeth you've got. So this will vary between person to person as children, but generally children have 20 teeth, which are called either milk teeth or baby teeth. You may have heard both of those. So 20 teeth, and then adults have 32 adult teeth. Now, for lots of you, your teeth will have started to fall out already. Your milk or baby teeth will have fallen out to make room for your adult teeth. So you may, if you found that you've got maybe 22 or 24 teeth, that's not unusual. It's just that your adult teeth are now coming through. But by the time you get to being an adult, you'll have 32 adult teeth. Now, why do you think children and adults have a different amount of teeth? Why is it that babies are not born with 32 teeth and then you can leave it and then it's just left like that? Why do you start with 20 teeth and then they fall out and you grow new ones? Why do you think that is, that children and adults have different amounts of teeth? So again, pause the video, have a little think and see if you can come up with an explanation. So maybe you've had a think about that and had some suggestions. The main reason that we don't have 32 adult teeth in children's mouths is because they simply wouldn't fit. An adult's mouth is much bigger, so has more room to fit all of those teeth in, whereas children don't have the same amount of room in their mouths. So that's the only reason for that. So as you grow, more teeth then have room to move in. So why do humans have teeth? Well, this may seem like an obvious one. Teeth, of course, help us eat. So chewing is the main function for our teeth. They help us chew, but they also help us speak. They help us form certain sounds. You'd find it much difficult, harder to talk without any teeth. It wouldn't be very clear at all. And also they give shape to our face as well, rather than it sort of sagging in. But the principle, the main reason that we have teeth is for eating and chewing our food. However, we don't just have one type of tooth. If you have a look at the bottom of this slide here, there are actually more than 4, but we're just looking at these 4 different types of teeth. Have a look at them. What is similar and what is different about them? And why do you think they're different shapes? So why might that be? So what is similar and what is different about these teeth? Okay, pause the video again, have a little think, have a chat to the person if you're in a room with someone else. Why might that be? What's similar and what's different? Okay, so hopefully you've had a bit of chance to reflect. We can have a look at these ones here. So we've got, the main differences, the main similarities between them is, of course, you've got the same color. All the teeth are white here and pink at the bottom. Now, why do you think they're pink at the bottom? These are your gums, actually, and all of your teeth have roots that go into your gums. So underneath this pink bit here, you still have the white tooth, which is just really has a deep root in there to make sure that your teeth don't fall out. Because if they only went up to the gum there, it would be much easier for them to fall out and you would end up toothless pretty quickly. The differences, of course, seem quite obvious in the fact that they're different shapes. So if you look over here, we have some wider ones, some sharper ones, some thinner ones. And then this tooth here has 2 roots into the gum. So you might think why this one has 2 roots into the gum and then these ones only have 1. So they're different shapes and sizes. And we are now going to have a look at the main types of teeth that you have in your mouth, how many you've got of them, where they are positioned in your mouth, and their shape as well. So let's have a look at the very first one. So we can sort your adult teeth into the following types. So incisors, canines, premolars, and molars. And we've already sort of discussed what's kind of different about these teeth, but we're going to look at these individually now. So the first one here is an incisor. So I'm just like we do with our reading, I want to say it and you say it back to me to your computer screen. As silly as it makes you look, doesn't matter at all. So incisor, do a bit better than that. Incisor, fantastic. So humans have 8 incisors altogether. So you can see on this picture here where they're positioned. Incisors are shovel shaped, which means sort of like a spade. So the same kind of shape as a spade. And they're found 4 at the very front of the upper jaw and then 4 at the very front of the lower jaw here. Now, if you struggle with remembering the name incisor, I like to think of it like scissors. So incisor, incisor. And that's because these sort of teeth, and we're going to look at their functions and what they do a bit later on next week, but they're used for slicing into food and cutting into it, just like scissors. So kind of think of them incisor, incisor. Might give you a little bit of a helping hand on remembering those names. So we have 8 incisors positioned at the 4 at the front of the jaw at the top and 4 at the front of the jaw at the bottom, and they're shovel shaped. So we're going to sort of split this lesson into sections. So here we have your sheet over here. What I'd like you to do is go through and just do the first tooth that we have looked at. What was that tooth called again? Can you help me out? So all of you hold it in your head. And on the count of 3, I want you to call out what's the name of that tooth. 3, 2, 1. Hopefully all shouting out incisor there. So which one is this incisor going to be? Well, I remember we have 4 at the very top and 4 at the bottom of our mouth. So they're going to be these ones up here. So where this arrow is pointing to here. So I'm going to do the name, incisor, number. Now that's how many teeth there are. So how many were there again? Again, hold it in your head. If there are 4 at the top and 4 at the bottom, there should be 3, 2, 1. Hopefully simple maths. 4 plus 4, there should be 8 incisors there. And then finally, what shape are they? Can you again call out on the type of 3? They're shaped after some, they have a very similar shape to a type of tool. 3, 2, 1. Hopefully saying shovel shaped over here. So once you've completed that section, you can then, if you've got some colouring pencils or colouring pens, you can then shade in with a particular colour all the incisors on this mouth. If, like me, however, you've only got a pencil, that doesn't matter. You can leave some of these teeth blank, you can shade some of them in really light, or then a bit darker. So you will still be able to do it with a pencil. So I'm going to do that myself. So it's the 4 at the top, right at the front. So I'm going to shade these in. Doesn't need to be absolutely perfect. 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, So I don't know if you can see that. 3 and 4. I hope that's clear for you. Okay, so that I've done as an example. If you could please complete that first part of your sheet. So remember the incisor, there are 8 of them, shovel shaped. And then if you've got colors, that would be really nice to have each, having all these incisors in one color. If not, you can just use pencil like I'm doing here. Okay, so if you complete that first section and then resume the video when you are ready. Okay, so I'm going to remove it off there, see if you can remember. Off you go. So guys, hopefully you've managed to complete that section of the sheet with incisor 8 and shovel shaped and highlighted these teeth here all in the same color. So now we're going to go on to the second type of tooth that we're focusing on today, and that is the canine tooth. So again, repeat after me. So canine, canine. Excellent. So canine, we have 4 canine teeth, and they're sort of like the vampire teeth. They're the ones that are really, really pointy and sharp that you have in the corners right on the sides of your incisors. So you've got 4 canine teeth, and they can be found in each quarter of the mouth on either side of the incisors. So these ones highlighted in red here. Quick reminder, what was the name of the first tooth that we were looking at again? Can you think about that? Hold it in your head. So the one that we did before canine, what's that called? And can you call that at the screen, please, in 3, 2, 1. Incisor, hopefully you were saying. Excellent. So going back to these ones, canine, we used scissors to help us remember incisor, because they cut into things. Canine is actually the same, comes from a Latin word meaning quite a common type of pet. Do you know, if you were talking about a canine animal, what sort of animal that would be? So canines are actually dogs. So the way that I remember canine teeth, these ones here, the pointy, really sharp ones, is imagine you're like a dog trying to rip open a bone or playing with a toy, and you're really kind of pulling and ripping at it. Those are the teeth that you would use, right? The ones in the corner, or if you're trying to bite into something really tough. So think of it like canine means dog. So think of those pointy, sharpy teeth like a dog's teeth that they'd use to rip open a steak or a bone or something like that. So let's have a quick recap. So I'm going to remove these ones here. So what is the, sorry, actually I'll minimize. Oops, I've gone one step too far. So what was the first type of tooth that we looked at again? 3, 2, 1. Incisor. Good. Hopefully we all said that we've got 8 of and a shovel shaped. And then what is the second type of tooth that we looked at as well? 3, 2, 1. Call it out. Hopefully getting canine there. So a canine tooth, which we've got 4 of right in the corners, those sharp and pointy ones. So what I'd like you to do now is on the next part of the sheet, I'm not going to do this for you, this is all for you. Find which arrow is pointing at the canine teeth, and then can you fill in this section here? Okay, so can you pause your video, please, and complete the next section on the canine teeth. Okay, off you go. Okay, excellent. Hopefully you've finished that section now. So remind me again, we've got the incisors and we've got the canines. Now we're going to have a look at the next type of tooth. So we've started right at the front with the incisors, going slightly back to the canines. Now we're going a slightly further back from that to the premolars over here. So they're these ones over there. So repeat after me. So premolar, premolar. Excellent stuff. So humans have 8 premolars. So just like incisors, we've got 8 premolars, and they are these very small and flat ones over here. So we're going to look next week at why teeth are certain different shapes and why some are pointy and why, like the premolars, some of them are small and flat. But for now, all we need to know is that they're called premolars. They're small and flat, and you can find them 2 in each corner of the mouth. And they're between the canine tooth and the next set of teeth that we're going to look at in a little bit. So they're called the premolars. And we've got 2, 4, 6, 8, just on the side of the canines. So let's quickly go through. What was the name of the first tooth that we looked at? I'm going to turn that upside down just in case it gives you a chance to cheat. So what's the name of the first tooth that we looked at right at the front that we use for cutting with? 3, 2, 1, incisors. Then we have these pointy ones over here that we've got 4 of. 1, 2, 3, 4 in the corners. Thinking about dogs, what are they called? 3, 2, 1, canines. Good, so hopefully you've got canines there named after the dog, because they're sort of like sharp, pointy dog teeth. And then the third one that we have just looked at, that we've got 2, 4, 6, 8 of over there. 3, 2, 1. Hopefully you got premolars. Premolars over here. Those small and flat ones that we've got. So, what I would like you to do, please, we are going to turn the sheet back over. Can you now find where the premolars are on this activity? Label it, and again, shade in where they belong in the mouth. So we're looking for the name of the tooth, the premolar, the number that you've got, how many of those premolars are in your mouth, and also how are they shaped? What are they shaped like? Well, and their size as well. So pause the video and move on to do that section there, please. Okay, hopefully you've now finished that. What tooth were you just looking at again? Premolars. Okay, so going back, hopefully you've got something that looks like this. We'll go through all the answers again at the end. So now we're looking and we're going to our penultimate tooth, so our second last tooth. So we've done what were these ones at the front called? The incisors. Then we've got these ones right at the pointy ones just in the corners are called the canines, just on the premolars. Now, if I were to tell you that the word the prefix over here, pre, means before. So if you say, for example, a prefix is the bit of a word that comes at the beginning, what do you think is coming next? If we've got the premolars or the before molars, next should come the molars. So over here, the premolars, the before molars, and then these ones over here. So just like the premolars, we have 8 of those, 2 in each corner of the mouth, right near the back. And they just like the premolars as well, they're flat. However, they're not small. They're actually the largest teeth in our mouth, and they've got 2 roots going into the gums here because they're the largest ones, so need that kind of extra support. So they're, if anything, they're very, very similar to the premolars, except that they're larger and slightly further back in the mouth. So again, let's do that kind of recap as well. So what was the first tooth that we looked at? I'm going to give you a clue over here. What was the first tooth we looked at the front? 3, 2, 1. Hopefully getting incisor there. Then we looked at the dog teeth, the pointy vampire ones over there, which are called the 3, 2, 1 canines. Then the ones that come, we've just looked at the molar. What are the ones that come before the molar? What was the third tooth we looked at again? 3, 2, 1 premolar, hopefully. And then finally, we've got the molars, the normal molars just over there. Fantastic. So what I'd like you to do now is, for the penultimate time, go back to your sheet. Can you find where the premolars are? So the ones next to, hopefully, sorry, not the premolars, the molars next, and they should be next to the premolars there. Okay, and fill in the details on the sides. Okay, so pause the video. Can you find where the molars are? Excellent, well done, guys. So remember, we've got 8 normal molars. They're the largest teeth and flat, and 2 in each quarter of the mouth. Now, we move on to our final tooth over here. Now, these ones are a bit unusual. These ones are called wisdom teeth. So repeat after me. Wisdom teeth. Wisdom teeth. Excellent. Now, humans can have up to 4 wisdom teeth. However, not everyone has them. They're the very last teeth that come through in your mouth. So some people get them sort of in their 20s. I've had a couple that have come through. Some people may not find that they come through at all, or some will get them even later. So, but the maximum you can have is 4. So 4 wisdom teeth. And you look at the picture, it looks very similar to the molar, and that's because really it is exactly the same. They are large and flat, and they're just an extra molar in the back. Now, most people have one in each corner of the mouth, and they're right behind the molars, and they come out later in adult life. So why do we call them a different name? Well, the reason we call them a different name is because they, as we say, they come out later in life, so that's a good way of remembering it as well. Wisdom. If you think wisdom is normally something that older people have, it's so you think that the wisdom teeth come through when you're older. And in fact, again, we're going to look at the purposes of teeth and why teeth are different shapes next week. But the reason that they're not needed anymore, they're not needed so much anymore. And in fact, people have them removed because they can be quite painful, and we don't actually use them anymore. But we'll focus on that next week. All we need to focus on at the moment is that they're the ones right in the back of an adult mouth. They're large and flat, exactly the same as a molar. And you've got them, and we've got 4, well, up to 4 of them. So what I would like you to do, I'm sure you've guessed it on the last section, hopefully you will be able to put in your wisdom teeth. Can you fill in the last section, please, and make sure you're coloring them in or shading them as we go along. Okay, so pause the video again, off you go. Excellent, well done guys. So hopefully we have got all of those done now. So we're going to have a little look in a moment, but before we have a look at the answers, I think we should just go for one more time. I know you've been calling out loads at the laptop or your tablet or whatever you're doing your work on, but we're just going to do it one more time, going through all of those teeth. So starting at the front of the teeth, those slicing ones that are shovel shaped, those are called 3, 2, 1. Incisors, excellent. And then we move slightly further back to those pointy dog-like teeth. Can you think of those? 3, 2, 1. Canines, hopefully we all got there. Then we go slightly further back to those teeth that come before a different sort of tooth. Hopefully that'll give you a hint. 3, 2, 1. Premolars. So hopefully those are the premolars. Remember, the ones that come before the next tooth, which is going to be, if we move slightly further back, 3, 2, 1, molars. Excellent. Really well done. And then all the way to the back, those teeth that you only get when you're very old and clever. Hopefully, again, that's a bit of a hint that we have up to 4 of in the back of our mouths. 3, 2, 1. Wisdom teeth. Excellent. So guys, let's have a look at, this is a sheet that I whipped up earlier. Hopefully you've got something that looks a bit like this. So we've got, again, those incisors over here that we have 8 of, 4 at the front, at the top and 4 at the bottom. Then those canines in the 4 corners over here. And we've got 4 of those, they're sharp and pointy. We go slightly further back to the premolars, where we've got 8 of those, 2, 4, 6, 8. They're small, those small and flat teeth. Means before, remember the word pre. Then onto the molars, which are the largest teeth and flat. And again, we've got 2 in each corner, so 8 in total. And then finally, all the way to the back, we have the wisdom teeth. So really well done, guys. Remember that all teeth, apart from canines and wisdom, we have 8 of. So you've got 8 premolars, 8 incisors, 8 molars, and then 4 wisdom and 4 canine. Really excellent work today, guys. We're going to finish off with a little quiz. You can either write this down, or you can just call these out loud. That's absolutely fine. So I'm just going to leave you with these questions here. Take your time to either write them down or come up with the answer, and then resume the video when you are ready to go through the answers. Okay, so all about things that we have done. Excellent job, guys. Hopefully you've either got the answers sort of in your mind ready to call out, or you've written them down on a piece of paper. So what is the main function of teeth? So what do we need teeth for? Hopefully, yes, we got to chew food. Can you think of those other reasons as well that we have teeth? Remember, they help us to talk, and they also give our mouth shape, but the main function is to chew food. How many teeth do children have? How many baby or milk teeth do you have? Hopefully we got 20. Excellent. And then we start growing more and more, but when you're an adult and you have a full set of teeth, how many do you have? 32. Where in your mouth can you find the molars? So I hope none of you wrote in my mouth. Where can you find the molars? So hopefully we got at the back of the mouth, both on the upper and lower jaws. Where can we find the incisors? So they're going to be at the front of the mouth, again in both the upper and lower jaw. What type of tooth are wisdom teeth? So they're basically the same as another kind of tooth. Are they the incisors? Are they the canines? Are they the premolars? No, of course, they're just another molar that you grow later on in life. And then finally, to finish off, how many canines do we have? Hopefully we all got that. That is 4. Excellent job, guys. Really, really fantastic stuff. Excellent work today. I'm just going to stop sharing my screen there. Hopefully you had a really enjoyable science lesson and you managed to learn a lot. We're going to be testing you this time next week to see how much you've remembered about those teeth. So give them a little study in the meantime. And maybe when you're brushing your teeth this evening or in the mornings, you can go through and say incisors, canines, premolars, etc., etc. And that'll maybe help you remember them as well. So really excellent job, guys. Hope you enjoyed that and have a wonderful weekend. Bye.